So like friendship is like a theme of their distillery, which is pretty cool because I think of like the water boy, you know, like thank you all for being my friends.
Welcome everyone to episode 126 of The Mashup, the best bourbon conversation you're going to hear all week long. We're your hosts, Anthony, Kenny, and Steven. Hello, sirs.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. Not as good as Anthony, but I'm good.
It's that asparagus you ate tonight, huh?
I'm just so excited that Steven has come back. He's gracing us with his presence that I'm giggly again, you know, it just happens.
You know, I was in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I decided to, you know.
Dropped on by from Colorado. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where you're at, right? You're out there in are you in a desert? Where are you at out there?
Is it like city.
In a city? Yeah. It's not a desert? Okay.
No.
Very foggy city.
Yeah, it's very foggy city.
Very foggy.
Well, I had Kenny, we were speculating on where we were actually at because it's parts unknown, but it's nice to have you back.
Well, thanks.
I mean, you drop in, you drop out. You know, I'm glad not to do the intro again though, for sure.
Oh, it's annoying, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a little bit.
Do the hokey pokey.
When are we going to get you doing the intro, Kenny?
Hello, and welcome to the Worst Bourbon Podcast. You're listening to all week long.
That's great. That's fantastic. But no, man. So being that you were traveling for so long there, and we were holding down the fort, do you have any fun things you'd like to tell us about from your travels out west?
I do.
Okay, all right.
So my wife and my son came out to visit me
nice.
the last week, and I was there.
A little family time,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so, of course, I took them sightseeing while they were out there. So we went south of where I was staying, and then we're going to end up at Red Rocks Amphitheater.
Okay.
Just to go check it out because, of course, you're there, you might as well see it. Well, it ended up being a Saturday, and there was a concert that night.
Oh.
So, of course, they closed it down to get ready for the concert. So, on the way to where we're going, we ended up just buying tickets, not really caring or knowing what it was. And just to go experience, because
What was it like 9 Inch Nails or something?
everyone says Red Rocks Amphitheater is a great place to go, great venue to go see a concert.
Right.
So we'll go experience it. That's cool. So it started at 6, and so I haven't told you the band yet.
Oh God. So wait, you got your son now?
I have my 9-year-old son
and your wife,
and my wife, and me.
Oh God.
We're going to a group called Big Gigantic. Do you know who they are?
I don't know who they are.
I've not heard of them either.
Okay,
just Big Gigantic's already got me a little bit.
We'll save the
bit.
genre of music for a second.
Okay.
I've heard of them. Like I listen to that kind of genre when I work.
What is it? House music?
So we park, and I'm already regretting buying these tickets.
But why?
Okay, so it is EDM music.
Oh, okay. All right. So we were close. There.
We were in Colorado at Red Rocks.
So are you saying that there may have been drug use there?
With a 9-year-old.
Oh no!
All right. Already,
Did you have to cover his ears and his eyes and everything?
So we park, and already it's very earthy smelling.
Okay.
There were people tailgating, which I didn't really care. People going car to car selling things. And a lot of scandalous clothing already being displayed. And I have a 9-year-old. So
just look at Kenny's face over here.
Nine's a new 15.
Yeah, right. So we sit there for a while, and my wife's like, all right, if it gets bad, we'll leave. Because I'm like super nervous. I'm just worried about him, the exposure that's going to happen and stuff. So I'm looking at what time sunset is. So sunset was at 6:44, and it was like 6:30 at this point. And so finally we're like, all right, we got
14 minutes. 14 minutes.
At this point, we've been sitting in the car already like 20 minutes. So we're like, we got to go. All right, we're going to start. So we start the walk of shame.
Okay.
We get through security. No one's bothering us. And so we're in at this point.
Yeah.
We hear there are 3 opening acts before Big Gigantic hits the stage.
Big Gigantic.
And so we start
rename the podcast Big Gigantic Bourbon. Go ahead.
So I have to use the restroom. So I have my first unisex bathroom experience in Colorado.
Oh,
which is basically a gigantic room with a bunch of full-size doors for each stall.
Okay.
And they can lock, and everyone just uses a communal sink.
Oh, nice.
And so that was that.
Did you get offered anything illicit in the bathroom?
But while I was out there or in there, like someone came up to my son and offered him something.
A brownie.
Right. And my wife was already like heightened at this point. And she's like, no, and like swats it away.
Oh no.
And he looks at my wife and said, that was a paramedic trying to give me like a rubber duck.
Oh, are you serious?
And she was, before she realized the guy was already gone.
Oh my God. Holy cow.
So we get our popcorn and we get our beer, and it's general admission.
Yeah.
So we need to go find a seat. So because you enter Red Rocks, I think you can enter from the bottom or the top.
Yeah.
So we come in from the bottom. I think that's kind of the main way to go in there. So we sit about a quarter of the way up on the right side of the stage, and it slowly people start coming in. And so we have this, almost, I'm not joking, we had a family come sit next to us, like a 20-year-old and his like parents. And so I was talking to the dad.
Were they fully clothed?
And so he was nice. And then we had nice people sit next to us. So we didn't have a bad like sitting location experience at all.
Okay.
During the entire night, I saw 3 other children. So it kind of made me feel not okay, but I guess there were other kids there.
You're dad of the year, man. Come on.
Right. So we tried staying as long as we could with him. He was playing on the phone the entire time. And then near the end, he had his ears covered because he didn't want to hear the house music going on. But it was everything you would imagine it being.
Well, see, you're over here like with the party at Red Rocks and taking your son there. He'll probably remember that the rest of his life.
That was his first concert, too.
Exactly.
At Red Rocks.
Dude, what was your first concert, Kenny? Do you remember your first concert?
Oh, man. I'm not a big concert guy. I know I went to the Dixie Chicks with my wife. That might have been my first one.
Really?
With your wife, and that was your first one?
I'm sure I went to one in junior high or high school. I'm sure, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's not a big concert guy. I like music. I just don't,
I remember being drugged. I was young, and I had no say in this, but I think my first concert was a Milli Vanilli concert.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a treasured memory since they're no longer
was
around.
it real? I mean,
Yeah. They were singing and stuff. I think mine was actually the Beach Boys or Three Dog Night.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
No.
I've seen the Beach Boys, and I'm wondering now, was that my first one or Milli Vanilli?
Oh, man.
I know
They
my
took Red
first
Mile when they were the first song.
I know my first one now. I remember.
What was it?
Conway Twitty. I went to Twitty City.
No.
Yes, I did.
Skin tight jeans.
Yes, my mom. Yeah, I remember that. And I was a little kid. That's right.
Yeah.
I went to Twitty City. Little Conway Twitty. Had to be my first concert.
Now, whoa.
I remember that.
I feel like my experience is pretty tame compared to that then.
There you go. Right?
That's what I'm saying.
Did she get Mom of the Year?
I was a 9-year-old, and who know what I said? No, I don't actually remember it, but I know I went. So.
There you go. Not wrong with that.
So it's good to be back, and now we need to catch up more with our reviews.
Absolutely. So we had another 5-star review come into us, and this was from screen name Schwarz. The title of the review is, I might be the only woman who listens to this podcast. Well, you know what's amazing about that? It's like, I hope we have more female listeners. But
I know my mom listens.
Oh, yeah, there
There's
you go.
2.
There's 2, right? So this reviewer says, after the birth of my first child in 2022, I found myself a mostly stay-at-home mom looking for new hobbies that would engage my brain. My husband and I had always enjoyed bourbon, but after hitting up our local Bourbon Fest, I decided to take a deeper dive into America's spirit. I quickly found your podcast, beginning with the episode comparing Jim Beam and Jack Daniels, a.k.a. which bourbon-flavored water is more tolerable. That's awesome. And was instantly hooked by the humor and the knowledge. I learned so much and have especially appreciated Kenny's explanation of how to nose and taste. Keep it up. Sarah from Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Well, thank you, Sarah. I appreciate those kind words.
Kenny with the ladies. I'm just saying that because his wife listens to the podcast too.
So there's at least 3 women.
There you go, 3 women. So that's a fun thing. So I could say that. But Sarah, we really appreciate you listening because, especially because you started with that Jim Beam and Jack Daniels episode.
And still continued.
Yeah, still continued.
It's good stuff.
That was one you cooked up, right? That was
that was a work in progress.
That was a work in progress, and we actually had to really wrench Michael to get him back on the podcast for that. So, yeah, good Good job.
If you'd like a shout out, just leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. The next time I record, we will give you a shout out. Gentlemen, in front of me is a very nice looking bottle this evening. It is a remnants of one other bottle we'll get to, but for this week, we have a bottle of 13th Colony Double Oaked Bourbon Whiskey.
Oh, yeah. So we got the 13th Colony Double Oaked Bourbon Whiskey from the 13th Colony Distillery in, is it Americus, Georgia? Is that how you pronounce that? Anyway, bottle date is 2023. ABV is 68.4. The proof is 136.8. This is, I couldn't find age statement. Kenny, can you help me out here? I know that we were talking beforehand. You're saying you had some age maybe here?
It was actually 10 years old.
Oh, wow.
Last year's was 9 years. This one is 10. What's interesting is it is double oaked.
Yes.
Between like 2.5 and 3.5 years.
Holy cow.
So,
wow.
Hence the motor oil darkness, I guess.
We'll get to that in
It
a
looks
second.
dark.
Think about most double oaks, it's not that long.
Right.
But yeah, it's 10-year-old with at least being 2.5 to 3.5 in the second barrel.
That's awesome. And the mash bill on this guy is 70% corn, 21% rye, and 9% malted barley. And the MSRP, we think it was around $160.
160 to 170, I believe.
But most places are selling it for
$199.
$200 or so. And it's worth noting that it was available on one of our sponsors, bourbonoutfitter.com, but it's sold out.
Sold out pretty quickly.
It was on Seal Box, too. It's sold out.
Yeah.
Use keyword the mashup.
I did, actually.
There you go.
No, but so like last year was the first release for that. In the 2022 release had 1,848 bottles in the batch.
Okay.
Clocked at 135.3 proof, but it was a Georgia only release.
Oh,
Wow.
With an $80 retail.
Dang, $80
Wait,
only.
last year was 80?
Last year was 80 and 1,848 bottles. This year is 3,216 bottles. And this year is Georgia, Tennessee, Texas, Arkansas, and then Silbach and Bourbon Outfitter.
Dang.
So they almost doubled their production, but they also doubled their
price.
MSRP. Yeah,
Dang.
And they almost included Kentucky. Come on,
Almost,
include
yeah.
Kentucky
Yeah.
next time.
but it won so many. I mean, it actually won a lot of awards last year. So I mean, I guess that's why they got to follow the money, right? They had a hit, and they got to try to capitalize on it.
I would say going and talking about this bottle. What does that look like, gentlemen? It looks like something I've seen before.
Happy birthday to you.
There it is. Yeah, it is happy birthday. It looks like a birthday bourbon with a short. It's not quite the same looking glass. I don't think we have a birthday bourbon here to compare it to, but it's a birthday
longer
bourbon.
neck.
Longer neck and
Way
a
longer
stout.
neck.
Squatty.
Yeah, squatty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way
Short
to put
and stout.
It almost looks like it could be a label for a coffee, and I don't know if it's because the liquid's so dark, but it's like got the cream and black with the stars on it and everything. It's just
And the color is basically an annual stout release.
yeah. Oh my god.
Looks a little bit like that might be that container you put beneath your car when you pull the oil plug.
So, Kenny, I've heard you say motor oil dark in previous episodes. This is the epitome
This
of
is
motor oil dark.
100%. Yeah, This is a motor oil dark for sure.
Yeah, but
Faux show.
it's an attractive bottle. I like the way it looks.
Yeah, so earlier tonight, I was going to call my boy Alves just to double check on some of the age statements. And I called him, answered the phone, hello. And I was like, that doesn't sound like Alves.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, is this Dan? So it was actually Dan from Bourbon Junkies that answered the phone.
That's funny.
He saw me calling. So
There you go.
they love it. I watched their review on it a couple days ago, and they gave it a much higher. They were more excited about that bottle than Minnick was about Cellar. So I am
Really?
I'm interested to see how I like this. They actually liked last year's as well. It was one of their top 3 to 5 bourbons last year. I didn't like last year's. It was way too tannic for me.
Okay.
So I'm interested to see how this one is. But now this is 1 year older, so we'll see.
Right. And you know what's interesting about 13th Colony? So I remember telling Steven this. So the first year we were doing a podcast, 2020, when I went down to South Carolina, we always go to this little sleepy, nice touristy town, upscale, called Palmetto Bluff. And so Boundary Bottle Shop in Palmetto Bluff had a store pick of 13th Colony. And it was a French oaked, I think it was only 2 to 3 year old bourbon. And they said they had it for years. They said it had
Years?
sat
A
there. They
pick
said
for
it,
years?
oh yeah, no, they said it sat there for at least 2 or 3 years. It had dust on it. So I bought it, took a flyer on it, and I have said in the past I really like heavy French oak. It was heavy French oak. So you could tell it was young bourbon, but it actually, the heavy French oak made it palatable.
Yeah.
And I liked it so much that the next year, when I went back in 2021, they still had that pick.
That's crazy.
You know why they still had it, though? Because this hadn't been released yet.
Gotcha.
So I got another one of them, drank another one of them, and then once this was released, I called down there and said, hey, do you have any of them store pick left? Just because I knew people were going to buy them up because of the name. And he said, no, some guy came in and bought all of them. So,
wow.
So even though it wasn't an amazing bourbon, it was like $40 or $50 because of this product being released.
Yeah, they sold
all their product out because people were like, oh, this is old. It's not made anymore. And I don't think it was. I think it was like one of their really early releases. I think they sourced it from somewhere.
You know what? You know what else that reminds me of then?
What's that?
Old Carter.
Oh, yeah.
So, Old Carter straight bourbon batches 1 through 3 are George Dickel juice.
Okay.
And they just sat there forever. Nothing.
That's true. People didn't buy that stuff.
Old Carter American.
We don't like Dickel too much. I'm sorry. I don't like Dickel too much. It's that Centrum coating.
One of them great memories when I brought that bottle of 13-year-old Dickel to your house before we even had a podcast, and you and Michael were like, I'm going to kill somebody. I'm not drinking this. They did not like it.
Flintstone vitamin.
Yeah, that's what it was.
No, it is. But Old Carter American Whiskey Batch 4, which 1 through 3 are amazing. But once that straight bourbon, I think it was bourbon 5, won like Whiskey of the Year, or like some famous or well-known YouTube guy gave it like the best. All of a sudden, every Old Carter just spiked. People were paying $450, $500 for this Dickel juice that had been sitting on the shelves forever.
Yeah, my goodness.
So kind of a similar thing there with that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure all the old 13th Colony that wasn't selling, sitting everywhere, got bought up because of this. So even with that being the case, 13th Colony's been around a long time. Did you realize that? 2009,
man.
2009. And so in 2009, they tout that on their website that they're the oldest distillery in
Georgia
since Prohibition.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which is freaking crazy because I don't know. I don't think of Georgia as a big bourbon producer and stuff like that. But of course, we don't have our history folks with us tonight. But 13th Colony is a reference to Georgia being the province of Georgia, the 13th original colony. Do you know your history better than I do?
I don't know. It depends on what you're going to history me on.
I don't know anything about it, so I just thought. But anyway, yeah, it's interesting that they've been around quite a long time.
They're very mean to cats, wild cats.
No.
Oh yeah, we got such a beatdown. We played Georgia.
It was so horrible. So horrible.
How long did you watch? Be honest, both of you.
You go ahead first if you want.
I watched almost all the first half, and then I watched a lot of the second half.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my!
I was in a cabin with family.
Yeah.
And so like I would watch it, and then on commercial I'd go outside because everyone was outside. Then come back in and watch it. So I was kind of going in and out.
Were you holding out hope that we were actually going to do something? Because after like the initial first, I think it was
21-0.
Yeah, well, 21-0, but all the dumb penalties too, like the guy diving on the other guy, and then the missed open.
Hit,
How many times Devin Leary's going to miss open receivers? I was just like, I got disgusted and shut it off by halftime. I was done for it. I'm not a good Cats fan, I guess. How about you kidding?
I was watching it for the pain.
Yeah, I was at my 30th class reunion.
Oh yeah.
So I would just glance up at the TV. 2 minutes, 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minute, then mingle and talk and do this. So I watched little chunks of the whole game, but I'd say game clock or game time wise, I don't know, maybe only like 7 minutes, 8 minutes probably.
So what was your graduating class size?
Class size, I think we had probably 300, 350.
Maybe, and so at 30 years, how many people are coming to it now?
Unfortunately, this one, there was not many people. We did a reunion for the 25th year. Everybody on our little Facebook page wanted to do one, so we did it. Pretty decent turnout, maybe like 75 classmates signed up. Then everyone on the same Facebook page were like, hey, we got to do a 30th, got to do a 30th, got to do a 30th. I would say classmates plus spouses.
Yeah.
We only had like 55 sign up.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not a lot. It wasn't good.
I think
fun time though. But for people that were there, fun time, but it wasn't good.
I think I had a 10th anniversary. I don't know if there's been any more.
Yeah.
We had a 10th and it wasn't even that well attended. So I think getting 30 or 50 or so from that many 30 years out is good because I think we only had close to maybe 100 for my 10th.
Yeah.
And I didn't make it to the other one. So I'm like, God, what do you mean the other one, the 20? We're at 20, right?
I guess.
Yeah, my God. Yeah, we were past 20. God, what happened to time anyway? That's why we got bourbon.
That's right.
All right. So on this, you guys have poured yours. If you can do me a favor.
Oh, of course, sir. What do you need over there, Sir Kenny?
So I did not enjoy last year's, at least, the 2 different times that I blinded it or tried it.
Okay.
I would like for you to pour me some of last year's.
Okay.
Some of this year's. And that Rebecca Creek Spanish Double Oak.
Oh, those
and
famous
blind those
Rebecca Creek Spanish Double Oak.
Those are fire for the money.
Okay.
So if you can pour me those blind, I would appreciate that.
All right.
I'm going to close my eyes.
Cue the Jeopardy music. We're going to pour Kenny here. And just so you guys know, when we're setting this up and we're pouring Kenny blind, you come over here, you don't know what to expect. The next thing you know, he's got like these vials everywhere. This one contains this one contains that. I can't even keep track of all this stuff. Can you keep track of it, Steven?
No.
Do you want to pour this blind?
Sure.
I can be the one that catalogs it. But you remember, you got to pour him.
Make sure to keep the order right.
Yeah, you got to keep the order right.
Hold on, Kenny. We only got one so far.
Yeah, we only got one. We're slow over here.
Keep them straight over there.
I know.
All right, Kenny.
Oh, yeah.
Macho man.
No, part of the reason why me blinding it, number one, it truly, if you don't blind, your subconscious, this is rare, it's allocated, this is that, it plays into it. But for me, I want to blind it to see if I really want to go grab a bottle, because they're rolling 500 secondary, and if it's King Kentucky-esque, if it's Coy Hill-esque, then it might be worth grabbing one as a backup or one or something,
Absolutely.
But if it doesn't finish great, or at least I try it and it might finish a little bit better than the Rebecca Creek, I know I'd rather have my $100 Rebecca Creek than spend, $500 on a bottle.
Well, you know what I think's fun about this is the fact that you're blinding and we're just going to give you whatever we're nosing on ours and give you the tasting, right? And that sounds like we can do both. We can do both at once.
Yeah.
We can have Kenny on a blind and Steven
Oh,
and I can
no,
do it.
definitely. Good.
That's perfect.
Let's get random notes from Kenny. Oh, I smell.
All right, let's do some notes.
Let's go.
Man.
All right. One thing right off the bat. So this is 136.8.
Right.
There is no ethanol.
Yeah, it's very...
you have to
light.
dive deep to get to it.
I'm getting like a deep seasoned chars,
French
cherries,
toast, syrup,
French toast, little syrup.
Toasted marshmallow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But you know what? To be honest with you, I know I don't have the descriptors here in front of me, but this is nosing to me like one of the first great premium bourbons I ever tried in my life, which was a 2012 George T. Stagg. 2014, I think it was, George T. Stagg. I got a pour of that on New Year's when it was reasonable at a bar, I think $15. And I was like, man, this is amazing. And that's kind of what this is nosing like, which is
really nice.
Kind of crazy
Rich.
to say that. Rich.
Nice,
very
rich.
rich.
the official tasting notes.
Well, nosing notes. Give me nosing notes.
Oh, they don't have that.
They don't have a nose?
So I will wait on that.
Yeah, you got to wait. You got to wait on that one for us because we got to see if we get any of them right. Right. You know what's crazy too? This is like, not only is the oak very rich and very seasoned and very charry and nice, but this almost has like dark fruit and meats. Is there any meat in here? Like a charred meat? Oh my gosh. It's very nice.
You gonna an aged steak in there?
Aged steak, some candied, candied bacons or something. You know how they put the bacon in the glass with like an old fashioned?
You say bacon in a glass, you know what I think of, right?
I don't know. What do you think of?
OBC, bacon in a glass.
Oh yeah, bacon in the glass. No,
peanut butter sauce. Yeah. Gosh, dang.
I've got bacon in the glass at Carson's too. One time they shorted me my bacon at Carson's on a old fashioned or something, and the guy was like, I was like, "There's no bacon on this." He's like, "Well, hold on a second. You don't have any bacon? We can't have that." He comes back with like 4 slices of bacon and like shoves them in the drink, and I'm like, he thought he was having fun. He's like, "Is that enough bacon for you?" And I'm like, "Damn, I'm going to be in for trouble here." But yeah, it reminds me of that kind of feel to it. But nice, very nice. Anything else you're picking up?
No, you got a lot of it.
Dark fruits.
Yeah.
So, Kenny, what are you doing over there with your blind, sir?
Nosing first.
Right.
The nose so far, I think I am far right. I think it's my favorite nose.
Okay.
Nosing first, and then I've already sipped the far right and the center, and now I'm going to sip the far left.
Okay. So did you know when they began making this bourbon, this is a family, a group of friends and families and friends of families and whatever you want to talk about. And they said they were making holiday gifts for their loved ones. So they were like making, I don't know, small batches or sourcing or whatever they were doing. And then they said, well, if everybody loves what we're doing, why don't we make this for everybody? Everybody can be our friends. So like friendship is like a theme of their distillery, which is pretty cool because I think of like the Water Boy, you know, like thank you all for being my friends.
So,
oh my gosh, what Adam Sandler would think about Adam Sandler.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Egotistical.
So they're very family friendly.
That's a weird thing because most people will on the holidays would like make candy for people,
right?
Or like I guess some sort of food. They're making spirits.
I know we gotta hang out. We gotta hang out with these people.
They really need some like lead time with that, right?
Right, exactly. I mean, I'm like, come on, you gotta, if you're gonna be distilling or whatever. But the other thing that's crazy, and I may have already mentioned this, and I'm not sure, but when I bought that one back in the day, that was like it was just a sour mash. It was like a sour mash whiskey aged in French oak. I think I could be completely wrong, but I thought that bottle said that juice was from Wyoming or Wisconsin or something. And I'm like, who the hell's making bourbon in Wyoming or Wisconsin? I can't remember. Maybe is that Driftless or somebody? Who the heck would have been making juice up there?
Well, Driftless Glen's out that way, but that one stuff is absolutely disgusting that J-Hob has. And I can't remember if they're from around that area.
Yeah.
It's got like 321 on the bottle or some kind of numbers on the bottle.
291.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 291.
Yeah, we had a we did
that
a
was
bottle,
Colorado,
and
yeah.
that was
was that Colorado?
yeah, and that was awful.
Yeah.
It was
That
disgusting.
had a lot of like cypress wood.
And I had they had 3 different ones at J-Hob. I don't know if it was like single barrel, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
I tried all 3 of them.
They're nasty.
Negative.
Yeah, no, it's a bad memory for us. That was was that the
That's
second?
good. That's what it is.
yeah.
Second or third time that somebody sent us a bottle, I think.
that? And it was a
when
nice bottle. It was a full bottle. It was
Sent us
expensive.
nice bottles,
Yeah.
all kinds of samples, and
They left cases at J-Hob.
oh, you really? Oh my goodness! Wow.
Say case. I take it back. They left. There's at least a case and a half I saw there. And
Yeah.
I don't know if J-Hob ended up buying some or what, but there's still bottles on the shelf there.
Oh my goodness! Yeah. Well, I recently saw it in the clearance section at my local Kroger. So, yeah, it didn't move in a lot of places. I mean, no disrespect. I guess it is disrespect, but this whatever that was, it didn't move. So I don't think it came from there, but I'm not sure. But this is definitely different.
Yeah. Well, should we go for our first taste?
Sounds good. You and I are behind.
I'm on
Kenny's
my
already
seventh
he's tasting over there.
So my one in the center, I'd get like a French toast on it for real.
Damn,
Syrupy.
Wow.
that's good. It's warm.
Finish alert.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Woo.
That thing's going.
That's got a hug, and it's getting
Hug.
stronger.
Yeah. I was not prepared for that.
I was not.
I
Because
literally
it
was not
went
prepared for
smooth, but all of a sudden that hug just started getting tighter and tighter and tighter.
that. Yeah. It really did. Holy cow. That's pretty special there. I mean, I'm trying to figure out the predominant flavor, but I think that I've already heard Kenny mention it a couple times. I think it's got like a syrupy flavor to
Yeah.
it.
I mean, look at the juice.
I know. Do you think they put syrup in the barrels?
Syrup.
Syrup.
Good times. What?
There you go. Sipping on some scissor.
I still can't believe people pay for those, man.
Oh yeah,
It's
I know.
freaking good times.
Well, hey,
What good times and how much you paying?
so there's a lot of different pit groups. There's different things going on. Oh God damn it! I just caught up now.
He's slow.
It's Waterboy over there.
You guys always get me. I get all intense over here, then I get lost in the moment. Next thing you know, I don't even know what's going on. So you got me again.
That's nice.
It's really
But
nice.
Even the proof, like I'm glad to know that the nosing it was not hot and drinking it is going down nice for as strong as it is.
Right.
I mean, I'm glad to see there's something there because you just want something there. Mm-hmm. But it's a nice solid drink.
That is. It's heavy. Wow. That's a heavy, it's like a berry charred frosting, maple, like myriad of greatness. And then the back end spice is, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like just pleasant. It's like a very nice,
Is there like a potpourri in the back end?
yeah, like a potpourri, like spicy,
Yeah.
baking, weird, nice. I don't know what that is.
I mean, it's good to know there's lots there.
Yeah, a ton. A lot to dissect here.
Yeah.
I mean, what did you say? I mean, before we get to pass try by here in a little bit, what did you say this thing's going for secondary right now?
515 to 520 consistently.
Holy.
Now they're like 650, when they first hit. And
I mean-
some people snatched them up because they're afraid they couldn't get them, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But they're consistently going for 515.
I mean, I hate secondary prices, but
Right.
I mean, for 500 compared to like some other stuff that's $1,000
Right.
on secondary, this probably has a lot of stuff beat.
Well, yeah. I mean, I always say it. I've said it 1,000 times, and I'll say it again right now just to remind people. I feel like the reason you need to pay attention to secondary markets is because they usually aren't false in a sense that it's not like people are out there paying a lot of money for whiskey that's not good. Unless
it is Buffalo Trace.
I knew exactly what you were going to say. I knew exactly what you were going to say.
Prime example.
Okay.
With Bourbon Junkies talking about that.
Right.
They're like, they even pulled out the 2022 GTS.
Right.
And drink it next to that. And they're like, no comparison. This crushes 2022 GTS.
Really?
So it's one of those things, and that's why I'm wanting to blind it tonight.
And what was that going for secondary?
They're 1,000.
That's what, okay, 1,000.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's like one of those things. It's like George T. Stagg, but this at half the price on secondary is still one of those bottles. And they even in their video said the exact same thing. Like, this is a bottle that you treat like it's BTAC.
Yeah.
That when you have like somebody over,
right,
and you're wanting to like share something special, they're like, share this.
And this was fun because no one's going to hear this.
Yeah.
And you can versus like a BTAC. Most bourbon people have heard those.
Right.
But you pull this out with the presentation of the bottle.
Absolutely.
And the darkness of it. And then, the proof.
Absolutely.
And then the flavors.
Well, I think that strikes. I hadn't watched what Junkies did, but it does strike me as being somewhere between King of Kentucky and George T. Stagg in terms of where my profile's at for the flavor, which is freaking crazy to say that because I'm not going to lie. Going back to what I was saying about secondary, when I saw these things selling, the first batch selling for 400 and some, I laughed. I was like, people are crazy. Because the only thing I had to compare it to was what I had tried from them early on. And I was like, there's no way this whiskey can be that good. Mm-hmm. And here I am tonight, foot in mouth, eating my words. This is really good.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I don't know.
You don't know.
That's true. You don't know.
I guess Kenny will know here after.
I'll know shortly.
Because we got to follow up with Kenny about last year's versus this year's.
I know.
And which he prefers once we figure out which is which.
Yeah. The back end of this show is going to be the Kenny Mills show.
Yeah.
Leave my back end of this. All right. So I've got my third place nailed here. So third place, I know my last place.
Okay.
I'm saying, well, I don't know what it is, but I know which glass it is.
Okay.
But before I hit back on the other two to first and second place, when I called earlier and talking to Alves,
yes,
him and the Bourbon Junkies, we're down at 13th Colonies.
What, right now?
Right now they're at Backbone. Doing some Backbone picks.
Yeah.
I think they were there yesterday or last week or whatever. What horrible time. Might have been last week.
Okay.
But all I can say is, holy crap. Just wait.
Why? What's going on?
So this is a 10-year double oaked.
Right.
And I'm assuming the one that I picked last place is last year's. Don't know yet. We'll find out. But double oak can be tannic, especially if it's older like that, or they double oaked for longer. Well, Bourbon Outfitter has, Ryan just picked it and it'll be out. I don't know when it'll come out, but soon. A 10-year also that's not double oaked.
Okay.
137 proof.
Okay.
So this is a 10-year double oaked at 136.8. He has a 10-year 137 proof coming.
Really?
He said it's really the same color as this, even though it's not double oaked. Mm-hmm. So it should be like that minus some of the tannins. And then Bourbon Junkies. So if you're not a Bourbon Junkie, what do they call it when you pay Patreon or something?
Patriot?
13th Colonies, Patriot.
Patriot.
No, but if you're, I don't know anything about that. I'm not a Patreon or anything.
Yeah,
But they picked a rye, a 95.5 rye, 9-year.
Holy mackerel.
143 proof.
Wow. Is that going to be on Bourbon Outfitters?
No, that's a Bourbon Junkie pick, so it should just go to their people only.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so that's two exciting picks coming out of 13th Colonies coming up pretty soon, man.
Well, the Bourbon Outfitter one, we better get a bottle of it.
Well, that's the thing.
If you know a guy.
Like with Alves and the Bourbon Junkies both, I mean, they got really good palates, so those are going to be some banger picks, man.
Yeah.
Banger picks.
Use code the mashup.
No, it is. I actually was able to score a 13th Colonies on Bourbon Outfitter.
Okay.
Used our discount as well. So
you did?
Yes, I did.
Nice. How about that? See, we practice what we preach here on the mashup. There you go.
Did. All right, so I'm going to go back in. If you guys want to do pass, try, buy, that's cool.
Yeah, sure.
But I'm going to go in and pick my first and second place.
All righty.
All right, I'll go first.
All right. We got to have you go first. You're the guest of honor tonight. You're back with a vengeance.
Even though it's pricey,
right,
at retail, definitely buy.
Okay.
I have no qualms about it after tasting it and knowing this is in the good bottle price, we'll call it.
Yeah.
And it's very good. I enjoyed every sip I had of it.
I agree 100%. And I would actually say that my laughing at certain things and the fact that I enjoyed the French oak as much as I did back then when nobody cared about it. This has actually kind of come full circle for me. So when I say people march with their feet and their wallets and their price consciousness or lack thereof, this going for $500 makes a lot of sense. And I too would buy it retail, and I'm contemplating secondary, right? It's always tough for me to justify my secondary costs. It's, this versus secondary at George T. Stagg. I think I'm going to take this.
Oh, half the price.
100% half the price. So
get 2 bottles for one.
I actually think it might be a bargain at secondary, which is crazy. Hey, bargain at $500. Shh. So Kenny, we're going to clean sweep over here. We like this one, but now I'm interested to see if anything, because the stuff you're tasting is probably less in cost. Some of it is, some of it isn't. So if you pick one that's less, then we're going to buy that and we're going to cancel what we said.
Interesting here. Interesting. I'm hoping. I think I've got my first place.
Oh,
all right. I got my order.
All right.
But I do admit, and I have admit on this podcast, on definitely on Mostic's podcast, I'm a sweet whore. I do like sweet in general.
Right.
I'm a sweeter guy.
You are sweet.
So however you all pour me is literally my order. So I'm first place, second place, third place, going from left to right.
Oh,
and
wow.
Don't reveal. I like to guess, bro.
Oh, here we go.
So
I didn't know.
My guess is my last place. To me, I'm hoping or guessing, and if it's not, I'm gonna feel really bad. But I think my last place is last year's 13th Double Oak.
Okay.
I think my second place is this year. I think my first is Rebecca Creek Spanish Oak.
We got one of those correct.
Did I get the 13th double flip? Did I get them flipped?
The 13th is flipped.
Oh, wow. 13th is flipped. So I picked this year's release
this bottle
last.
Right.
Ooh,
So this goes to the question is, how does this compare to last year's?
So last year's, which when I had this, I had a full 2-ounce sample bottle of it, and we drank half of that sample bottle. So this is sat here on my table half full for 6 months, 5 months.
Oh, so you think that's mellowed out a little bit?
So
The tannicness is mellowed, maybe?
it is definitely. So if you all liked this new one, I'm going to pour the rest of this last year's in there. Take one little nip on this. So last year's, but it's, like I said, it's been sitting with half full of it. It's a 2-ounce sample bottle. So 1 ounce in there, half and 1 ounce of air.
Right.
Take a sip of that.
All right. Here we go. The communion is coming around the table.
To me, it's way less tannic than the new one, but the new one's also fresh crack,
Oh,
See what I'm saying?
wow.
Way less tannic, bro.
Woo. Dang, I want all of them. Give me all the 13th
What's
Colony.
the proof of last year?
135.
Little
135.3 versus 136.8.
Okay.
It's a little lower.
I want to see what you think, though, because I still think I have a point to make after you try this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's beautiful, but I personally think that it might be a slight bit hotter, just a tiny bit hotter.
That's it's hotter.
I just don't get the tannin. I don't get that draw me up.
No,
tannic.
It's not the tannin. It's just a little hotter.
Yeah,
That's
a little
all.
hotter.
The
Yeah,
proof,
see, proof,
even though the proof is lower on that one, it drinks a little bit hotter than the other
Now,
one. That's all.
it didn't have the hug
No,
like this year's.
I don't think I had to finish.
So it's kind of flipped.
But it
this year's,
definitely-
it started fine. And
which
then
one's this now?
Take a nip of this, Anthony.
Uh-oh, what's this one?
You tell me. It's Lot B. Lot B, Old Fitz.
That's
What's the proof of this?
that's good.
120-ish. 122, 123.
That's good, but I think it lacks it's very smooth, but it lacks the gusto of the others.
Yeah, the other ones feel hardier.
Hardier,
It's a little,
grippy.
it's a little
Hardier.
thinner.
Like I said, I admit that I am a sweet whore,
Yeah.
so I like that.
That one is sweet.
It's tasty.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Is that the
That's
which
the
one?
13th call. That's the
Rebecca Creek?
that's Rebecca Creek
Ooh.
Spanish Double Oak. So that is a
Spaniard.
$80 retail that even secondary you can still maybe snag them for 1 to 110.
Really?
That's
It's
it.
good pour.
110
It's
bucks.
good pour.
I would take that.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at 500 secondary or you're looking at 120 secondary,
Yeah, that gets a little interesting. But what I am going to say is, so the standard bearer of double oaked, in my opinion, for the average drinker is, what would you say it is? Woodford, right?
Yeah, it's the most accessible to people.
It's the most
Why are you using a vibrator?
Here we go again.
I first come here and there's pearls in bottles, which I don't know where they've been. And now he's getting some cups
Driving
that
away
shouldn't be
there
done.
with the aerator. He's aerating.
Children,
away.
I'm aerating, dog.
So double oaked Woodford. I know you've lost your train of thought now, but that's the standard, right?
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
assume so.
And then you got like the other things that are more accessible, like Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel. You got Michter's has a lot of toasted.
1910,
1910. There's a lot of
Penelope toasted.
a lot of the big guys and some of the more. But these are all true craft, right? These are all craft places.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that they're doing a better job. The only other product that I had, have you ever had Peerless Double Oaked?
Yeah.
I have not had a Peerless anything yet.
Okay.
No, I've had, I actually did a Peerless Double Oak pick with Alves and Jordan.
Well, here's the thing. I thought Peerless Double Oaked was a pretty tasty product.
Yeah.
I thought, like, are they doing a long aging process too? Is that what they're
No,
doing?
all their stuff's like 4 to 6 years, 5, 6 years.
I know, but the secondary finish, is it longer or not?
I don't know about that.
I just wonder if 13th Colony, and I don't know if Rebecca Creek finishes for a long time or not, but it's like I feel like these longer ages in that secondary barrel are doing a good job, which is the exact opposite of last week, which was the Sagamore Spirit, which was, 18 months secondary?
Oh.
And it was 18 months
secondary.
in a second barrel, and it was not good. Yeah,
Oh my
so
gosh.
yeah, it was not good.
All right. So if you have this capability, Anthony, to only drink half of that, drink half of that.
What'd you do? Did
Just
you
drink
do
half
something?
of that. Steven,
That's very good. I know what you did.
sippy,
I know,
happy.
I know what you did, sir. You've mixed something together, haven't you? Mm-mm. No, that was good.
I actually thoroughly enjoy that. Do you like it? What'd you think?
I'm trying to capture what the taste is.
That was good.
I lost it.
So what that last one is this year's 2023 13th Colony's Double Oak, aerated with my frother.
Oh.
So this might give you an idea what it tastes like when it's been open for 30 to 60 days.
That did taste different.
Yeah.
And it took a lot of that tannic out, a lot of that draw me up metallic super wood out. So that is freaking incredible.
Yeah, I think if I was to characterize
That's really
what's
good.
going on here is if you have a bottle of this 13th Colony, you
Pop
gotta-
it open.
Yeah, pop it open and leave it.
And just leave it.
Yeah.
Or decant it.
You know, that's
If I had
decanter.
a bottle
Get a
of
decanter.
it,
Yeah.
well, on bottles like that, I mean, I will literally, I will take them and pour the whole entire bottle into my big, what's that glass thing called up there? I've got. Can you look at that? What is that called?
Oh, is that like a
Like you bake with. It's
Pyrex?
like
What's a
big
Pyrex
thing,
glass? Yeah. What's a Pyrex
Whatever
glass?
that's
thing?
called.
What's that called?
So I pour the whole entire bottle into there, and then I pour the whole entire bottle back into the original bottle,
Right.
just to try to get some air in there.
Yep.
Because this was some air on it. Holy crap! This is great.
That does taste good.
So, Kenny, would you pass, try, or buy on this year's 13th Colony?
Yeah, what are you
Double
doing,
Oak?
brother?
Before aeration, I would still buy a retail, not secondary. After aeration, I'd probably buy it secondary.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well,
I really would.
I don't think there's really any question here. I mean, I'm just thoroughly impressed at this product. I think that these guys are going to definitely give their big guys a run for their money. And I honestly think that the big guys need to pay attention. If you're going to age 2 to 3 years in a secondary barrel and produce something that tastes like BTAC caliber stuff or King of Kentucky caliber stuff, yay, Houston, we got some problems.
I mean, if you're going to do it, do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Don't
right?
half it.
So here's the thing, man.
Yeah.
Like the big boys, they could shut all this crap down if they wanted to.
Oh, yeah?
And when I say that, you've had some premium Heaven Hill
Yeah.
stuff that's
Yeah.
off the record at my house before.
Uh-huh.
I was talking to one of my buddies today. He was out doing a barrel pick today.
Uh-oh.
And one of the guys that showed up at the barrel pick is either the master distiller or blender. I believe it's the distiller for one of the big boys.
It's not Donis Todd, my favorite master distiller of all time. Go ahead.
And he brought a 16-year, 149 proof
Oh, God.
mash bill 2 of Buffalo Trace. The drink like it's 110 proof.
Wow.
That was just, he said, off the charts, literally off the charts.
So
So the big boys have that capability. Think about Brown Foreman with Coy Hill. Think about Brown Foreman with King of Kentucky each year. The big
Yeah.
boys have the capability of shutting all this down if they choose to.
but they just want to keep
They just
the
want
profits.
to freaking water it down
Max
and keep the
profits.
profits and max profits. You
Oh,
got it.
man.
And with that, thanks for listening to this week's edition. Please like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Mashup KY.
Don't forget to visit our partner, bourbonoutfitter.com. Enter code The Mashup for a special discount.
Also, let us know your thoughts on this bottle in the comment section. Until next time, keep it neat.